Picture this. Your check engine light comes on, you plug in a scanner, and it shows P2096. A quick search online tells you it's probably the oxygen sensor. Another website says your catalytic converter is failing. Before you know it, you're looking at repair estimates that could cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But here's the truth. Most people replace the wrong part because they misunderstand what this code is actually telling them. If your car has stored P2096, don't spend a single dollar until you understand what the code really means, because the fix is often much simpler and much cheaper than you think. If you enjoy learning how to diagnose your own vehicle instead of guessing and replacing parts, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Every week, we break down common trouble codes and show you practical ways to fix them while saving money. Now let's talk about what P2096 actually means. The description says Post-Catalyst Fuel Trim System 2 Lean Bank 1, and that's where many people get confused. They assume the engine is running lean and immediately blame the oxygen sensor. In reality, this code is based on information coming from the downstream oxygen sensor. The upstream oxygen sensor constantly helps the engine computer adjust the air-fuel mixture. It's always making small corrections to keep the engine running efficiently. The downstream sensor has a different responsibility. It sits behind the catalytic converter and monitors the exhaust after it has passed through the converter. Under normal conditions, its readings should remain relatively steady because the catalytic converter has already cleaned up the exhaust gases. So why does P2096 appear? The answer is surprisingly simple. Imagine there's a tiny crack in the exhaust pipe just before the downstream oxygen sensor. It could also be a leaking flange gasket, a rust hole, or even a loose connection where two sections of the exhaust meet. As exhaust gases move through the pipe, the small opening allows fresh outside air to get pulled into the system. The downstream oxygen sensor doesn't know where that oxygen came from. It simply detects more oxygen than expected and reports a lean condition to the engine computer. After seeing the same pattern enough times, the computer stores P2096. Notice what happened. The sensor didn't fail, it accurately reported what it detected. The real problem was the extra air entering the exhaust system after the engine had already finished burning fuel. That's why replacing the oxygen sensor often does absolutely nothing. The new sensor sees the exact same exhaust leak and reports the exact same problem. This is also why exhaust leaks are one of the most common causes of P2096. Over time, exhaust systems take a beating. They're exposed to heat, rain, road salt, dirt, and constant vibration. Even a leak that's too small to hear can be enough to trigger this code. The good news is that many of these repairs are inexpensive. Sometimes all it takes is tightening loose hardware. Other times, replacing a worn gasket or repairing a cracked section of pipe solves the problem completely. Even replacing part of the exhaust is often far less expensive than replacing components that were never faulty. Of course, that doesn't mean the downstream oxygen sensor can never fail. Like any electronic component, it wears out over time. After years of exposure to extreme temperatures and exhaust gases, its response can become slow or inaccurate. Most oxygen sensors last somewhere between 60,000 and 100,000 miles, although driving conditions can shorten or extend that lifespan. The important thing is proving the sensor has actually failed before replacing it. A scan tool with live data makes this much easier. Once the engine reaches operating temperature, monitor the downstream sensor's voltage. If it's stuck at one value or never responds to changing conditions, the sensor may indeed be faulty. But if it's responding normally while consistently reporting a lean condition, that's a strong clue the problem lies somewhere else, usually an exhaust leak. Before replacing any sensor, take a few minutes to inspect its wiring and connector as well. A damaged wire or corroded terminal can create the same symptoms as a failed sensor. If this video is already helping you avoid an unnecessary repair bill, hit the like button. It helps more drivers find this information before they spend money replacing parts they didn't actually need. So we've covered the two most common causes of P2096, but they're not the only possibilities. In some cases, the problem starts somewhere completely different, and if you don't know where to look, you could still end up chasing the wrong repair. That's exactly what we'll cover next. One of those possibilities is a vacuum leak, but this is where reading all the stored codes becomes important. A vacuum leak allows extra air into the engine before combustion, creating a true lean air-fuel mixture. When that happens, the engine computer almost always detects it through the upstream oxygen sensor first. That's why vacuum leaks are commonly paired with codes like P0171 or P0174. So, if your scanner shows P2096 along with one of those lean condition codes, don't start underneath the car. Begin by checking the intake system. Cracked vacuum hoses, leaking intake boots, damaged PCV hoses, or even a leaking intake manifold gasket can all allow unmetered air into the engine. The quickest way to confirm a vacuum leak is with a smoke test. Smoke is introduced into the intake system, and wherever it escapes is where the leak is hiding. It's a simple test that often saves hours of guessing. Another possible cause is low fuel pressure, although it's much less common when P2096 appears by itself. A weak fuel pump, a clogged fuel filter, or a failing fuel pressure regulator can all reduce the amount of fuel reaching the engine. When that happens, the engine runs lean, and eventually the downstream sensor sees the effects. But again, this type of problem usually triggers other fuel trim codes before P2096 becomes the main complaint. That's why it's important not to focus on the most expensive repair first. Instead, follow a logical diagnosis. Start with a visual inspection of the exhaust system. Raise the vehicle safely and examine every section of pipe behind the catalytic converter. Pay close attention to flange connections, welds, the flex pipe, and the area around the downstream oxygen sensor. If you notice black soot around a joint, that's a strong sign that exhaust gases have been escaping from that location. Next, start the engine and listen carefully. Even a small exhaust leak often produces a faint ticking or hissing sound that changes with engine speed. If it's difficult to pinpoint, use a length of rubber hose as a listening tube. Place one end near your ear and slowly move the other around the suspected areas. Just remember to keep your hands away from hot exhaust components. After that, connect a scan tool capable of displaying live data. Allow the engine to reach normal operating temperature, then monitor the downstream oxygen sensor. A healthy sensor should provide a stable reading once the catalytic converter is working efficiently. If the voltage stays extremely low or never responds, inspect the sensor and its wiring. If you still haven't found the source, consider having the exhaust system smoke tested. Introducing smoke into the exhaust makes even the smallest leaks easy to spot. Tiny cracks, failed gaskets, or rust holes that are invisible during a visual inspection quickly reveal themselves once smoke begins escaping. The repair depends entirely on what you find. A leaking gasket may cost only a few dollars to replace. Repairing a cracked weld or replacing a damaged section of exhaust pipe is still relatively affordable. Even installing a new downstream oxygen sensor usually costs far less than replacing a catalytic converter. That's why diagnosis always comes before buying parts. Too many people replace the oxygen sensor because it's mentioned in the code description, while others replace the catalytic converter simply because it's expensive and sounds like the obvious culprit. In many cases, neither part was ever the problem. The biggest lesson from P2096 is simple. Don't diagnose the car based on the name of the code. Diagnose it based on the evidence. Inspect the exhaust, check the wiring, read the live data, test before replacing anything. Following those steps can save you hundreds of dollars and eliminate the frustration of seeing the same check engine light come back a few days later. If you found this guide helpful, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who's trying to solve a P2096 code. You never know, you might save them from replacing parts they didn't actually need. In our next video, we'll tackle another trouble code that causes plenty of confusion. P0700. Transmission Control System Code, what it means and how to fix it. DIY Guide. I'll explain why this code doesn't automatically mean your transmission has failed, how to uncover the real fault hiding behind it, and the step-by-step checks you can perform before spending money on major repairs. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.